Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In this video, we're going to be talking about Polkadot and specifically what our price prediction is for 2025. As this bull run starts heating up and comes to an end towards the end of this year, beginning of next, it's important that we consider whether or not we're going to hold Polkadot for the long term or whether or not we're going to sell and then try to accumulate during the bear market. Now, obviously, my strategy personally is to do a mixture of both. It really does depend on what you want to do and what your aspirations and goals are. So in this video, I'm going to briefly go through why Polkadot is an interesting investment for the long haul, and obviously talk about where we think this is likely to go in the next cycle as we talk about 2025. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you are new, then do subscribe, tap the bell, and select all notifications. In doing so, you will stay up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, let's get into a little bit of Polkadot here and talk about what it is, right? So obviously, Polkadot is the next generation blockchain protocol connecting multiple specialized blockchains into a unified network, and designed as part of a broad vision for a web that returns control to individuals over internet monopolies. Now, Polkadot builds on the revolutionary promise of previous blockchain networks while offering several fundamental advantages. So what are these? Well, we obviously have scalability. So blockchains in isolation can only process a limited amount of traffic. And Polkadot is a sharded multi-chain network, meaning it can process many transactions on several chains in parallel, eliminating those bottlenecks that occur on legacy systems or networks, and that basically process transactions one by one. This parallel processing power significantly improves the scalability and creates the right conditions for increased adoption and future growth. So sharded chains in general connected to Polkadot are called parachains. Okay, so obviously we talk about sharded blockchains all the time. We obviously are big fans of Harmony One, for example, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗓. We also all have multi-vac most recently with multi-dimensional sharding, right? And Polkadot is no different to this next generation blockchain with the sharding principle. Now, the other thing is it's obviously very specialized. So when it comes to blockchain architecture, one size simply doesn't fit all, right? And all blockchains tend to make trade-offs to support different features and use cases. For example, one chain might optimize for identity management while another might optimize for file storage. On Polkadot, each blockchain can have a novel design optimized for the specific use case. That means blockchains can offer better services while also improving efficiency and security by leaving out unnecessary code. And basically, by building on the substrate development framework, teams can develop and customize their blockchains faster and more effectively than ever before possible. Okay, so the next, obviously, we're talking about working together. We briefly mentioned teams, right? But networks and applications on Polkadot can share information and functionality like apps on a smartphone without needing to rely on centralized service providers with questionable data practices. Unlike previous networks that operate largely as standalone environments, Polkadot offers interoperability and cross-chain communication. This is absolutely vital when we start thinking about 2025. Now, this opens the door to innovative new services and allows users to transfer information between chains. For example, a chain providing financial services can communicate with another that provides access to real-world data, also known as an oracle. Something like Chainlink, for example, does that very, very well. API 3, again, do it very, very well. So such as stock price feeds, tokenized queries, and anything that an oracle might handle. Okay, the next thing is self-govern. So communities on Polkadot govern their networks as they see fit. And hold a transparent stake in the future of Polkadot's network governance as a whole. So teams can customize and optimize their blockchain governance to suit their needs, experiment with new ideas, or swap in pre-built modules for faster development. Now, or deployment, in fact, yeah. So blockchain governance models can even be perfected and upgraded as needed, and conditions change over time. Okay, now obviously we can talk about how easy it is to upgrade as well. Like all software, blockchains need upgrades and to basically, stay relevant and improve over time. However, upgrading conventional chains require what is called a hard fork. This is something quite familiar. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they would require hard forks, right? And then obviously you have things like Cardano that does not require a hard fork. Polkadot here is like that. So basically, when we consider Polkadot, it enables forkless upgrades in the same way that Cardano does, allowing blockchains to evolve and adapt easily as better technology becomes more available. No more will we need to have those hard fork situations. So when taken together, all of these core features opens a world of possibilities for new services that basically put people back in control of their own digital lives. Several teams are already building impactful solutions on Polkadot for a range of applications, including finance, gaming, digital identity, Internet of Things, supply chain management, social networking, and cloud technologies. The Web3 Foundation, the organization responsible for stewarding and development of Polkadot, supports many of these teams with grants, funding projects at all levels of the Web3 technology stack. From the low-level infrastructure to ecosystem components such as wallets, parachains, bridges, and tooling. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on, guys, and a lot of things that we're going to want to really kind of get into. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Polkadot, do more research because you will be very impressed with what you see there. It is definitely a blockchain for the future, along with things like Cardano. Okay, so definitely pay attention to Polkadot. It is one of the great ones out there. But let's talk now about what is going on this cycle and where we might see Polkadot in 2025. Okay, so here we obviously have the Fibonacci retracement tool, and this is actually the daily chart. But if we just zoom out to the weekly, you can see there isn't a lot of data. This is because it's basically a relatively new chain. We haven't seen too much data here flowing through, right? So we actually only have data from August of 2020. And this is actually when I think it was wave one actually peaked out a little bit, right? So for those who are unfamiliar, if we just jump over to Bitcoin here, actually, Bitcoin is pretty a bad example. Let's jump to ADA because ADA is a pretty neat example of what we're talking about. So in the case of Cardano, we have 5 impulse waves to the upside, and Polkadot is the same as this, right? They're all kind of following the same pattern. They may have just started later. In the case of Polkadot, we have data running from August, which is actually the top of this wave 1 scenario just here. Okay, so when we actually jump back down into our Polkadot range, we know that this here is actually the peak of our first wave, right? So then we obviously have our second wave here, third wave, fourth wave, and then we can obviously assume that as we go to the upside here, the top of our Fibonacci retracement tool becomes our fifth wave, okay? I'll quickly just draw this on so you guys can see visually what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to quickly grab hold of my Elliott theory and these 5 impulse waves to the upside, okay? And we're going to assume that wave 1 was down here somewhere. We peak wave 2, we come down in the correction of wave 2 just down here. We push up to the top of wave 3, we come down for the correction wave 4, and then we push up into our fifth wave. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the kind of pattern that this cycle has been following, and this was confirmed when we were talking about this third wave kind of topping out. Once we started to see this correction wave come in, it was very apparent that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going for the fifth right now. Okay, so that obviously then aligns with our Fibonacci retracement tool, right, from our high point and our low point of this top of wave 3, bottom of wave 4, pushing up, and that puts basically Polkadot at $177 for the peak of this bull run. Okay, and again, for those people who are unfamiliar, market cap is not a barrier to price discovery. Market cap is a basic calculation between the last sold price for DOT multiplied by the circulating supply. So when you take the circulating supply, multiply it by $177, it is not the amount of money that is required to actually be in the project to do that. It's just a notional value to kind of, well, it's actually price. It's a notional price to give you a kind of a flavor, an estimation of the value of something, right? It is not actually representing the value of a blockchain. So it's a very basic calculation. We can't use it as justification for very much. It's actually going to mislead you if you lean on it too much. It gives you an idea that things are kind of ranked this way, but it doesn't actually give you a barrier to price discovery, and it definitely shouldn't be something that you should consider a reason not to invest. Okay, so understand what it is and what it isn't. It's not your friend, unfortunately, in the crypto space. Instead, we have basically 2 things that really are going to determine whether or not we go for this $177. That is, what is the supply? Is there a squeeze on the supply? Is there a reason that DOT is going to be locked up, and yes, we do see why DOT is going to be locked up with parachain auctions, etc. Okay, so we do know that there's going to be a squeeze on the supply. And the other thing is demand, right? So as things start heating up here, there's a higher demand as the supply gets squeezed. Basically that pushes the price up. So when we start seeing FOMO coming in here, where basically the fear of missing out, this is going to significantly push the price of Polkadot higher with a tighter squeeze as people are expecting higher and higher returns. So people will be hodling, not selling, or it's going to be locked up for parachains and various other reasons, right? So ultimately what we're talking about here is a good push to the upside, $177, not impossible, something that's very, very much possible here, and something that we are likely to see, in my opinion. But what does that mean about 2025? Let's assume that we have in fact actually hit $177 at the end of this bull run. What happens in a bear market? Well, a bear market, we usually lose about 90% of the value. Okay, so the lower it goes, the higher the price will be in 2025. Okay, so we will just put this down at 90% value loss. Okay, so that comes in down here. Okay, so we have basically hit $177, and then we drop all the way down to our low point down here at $17.50. Okay, coming down all that way obviously then allows us to put on a new Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay, this time we're going to run it from the all-time high, which is $177, down to our bear market low. Okay, the bear market low would be that $17.55. This then shows us our price prediction and our price expectations for 2025. This comes in at $692.99. Okay, a significant push from where we were previously and a nice gain to be had. So let's assume that we are buying at the absolute peak of our bull run of 2021, and we're looking to hodl our way through, then we are still going to see 291% in gains if you are buying at the absolute worst point. Obviously, we don't want to see that. We want to basically be selling on the way up, and then locking in profits on the way down as we go through the bear market. Okay, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to build significant positions as we dollar cost average the dips, buy and sell on the way down, build a very good position by the time we get to the end of the bear market, and we start to see a steady rise back up as we go after $692 for 2025. So guys, that is my price expectation for Polkadot during the 2025 bull run. Hopefully you have found this video useful and informative, guys. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.